Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gonna shine.
Driven deep in the right center field. That ball is God. Makes a leaping play. Yankees making a statement. Rounding to third. There's one. There's two. There's it's a triple play. The 2-1. High fly ball. Deep right center. There it goes. See ya.
What is up? What is up? What is up, Yankees universe? KOD Nation, stand up, and all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this Tuesday, December 20th episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. It's a special one for you. We got the guy from the Bronx Zoo, my man Jake. If you guys aren't familiar with the Bronx Zoo, I'll bring him in momentarily to introduce you guys. But I just want to shout out the chat real quick. My man Tyler Tabbitt is in the building. Tyler, what it do? Salute, 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 3 capital S's. Yankee fans, before we get into the big conversation, Jigga Man Porto, I see you, baby. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We got to celebrate because, yes, we got Carlos Rodon. Right, and I'm super excited that the Yankees signed Carlos Rodon, but we are left with what is next. What is the next move for our team to make? And we're gonna have that conversation with my man Jake. Eric Wallace is also in the building. Eric Wallace, what it do? Good morning, salute, salute, salute. If you can, my guys, Yankees universe, hit that like button as you come in. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button also. But without further ado, my man Jake. Jake, what it do? Good morning, baby.
What's up? Thank you for having me on, Hector. How we doing?
Man, I am ecstatic. I appreciate you for taking this time out to join us. But bro, one, before we talk about the Yankee stuff, I really wanted to let you know and give you your flowers. The content that you put out, bro, this past season, especially in the playoffs, I just want to salute you, bro. Thank you so much for putting that content out there. And, you know, a lot of fans, they don't have the luxury to go to the stadium or go to opposing stadiums. And you give us that number one feed right from the stadium for the fans. I just want to give you your flowers, my man.
Thank you for watching. That means everything. That's why I do it. I'm a fan. That's what I tell everyone. No matter, at the end of the day, I'm just a fan myself. It's not just me going out with a mic and a camera just to see myself on camera. It's I do this because I love this team, and I felt like we had to show the world who we were. We weren't seeing it enough.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, how was it actually being in Houston around the Houston Astro fans? Like, to me, I gotta say, listen, this guy got little balls on him to be able to go out there to Houston and be around those fans. But how was it ultimately being around the fans and the atmosphere that you got from them?
Yeah, you said that I went to Citi Field. That was okay. That wasn't that bad. Went to Boston, got some hecklers, but it was not that bad. But all season long, I call them Astro fake fans. The fake fans came at me more than any fan base.
Wow.
If you could see my notifications and my messages, it was crazy. And I'm like, well, I'm tired of this. Like Houston got a fan base in 2017, right? That's what I tell. Yes, there were some people who 05, of course, things like that. But the confidence came out of nowhere, just absolute nowhere. And I said no matter what, I was so confident that we were going to play Houston. I booked the trip before the games were finished. Seattle could have won.
Yeah.
Guardians, who knows? Me and my producer Eddie, we planned that trip, hotels, all of it before anything was set. And we said, what's going to happen if the Yankees aren't there? And I said, I don't know, because there's nothing to do in Houston. So we were like, we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. And the night of Game 5 of the ALDS, which was the craziest night I've ever seen outside Yankee Stadium all season long. We built and built and built, and Game 5 just came out of nowhere, and the craziness that happened, it was amazing. We went straight from the stadium straight to the airport, and I remember sleeping on the floor of the airport, and I heard the chants in my head. I couldn't get them out. It was that loud. And I was like, man, this is gonna be crazy. So we went to Houston, and yeah, I knew I'd have to be tough. I knew I would hear some crap. And what amazed me most of all was I would post these videos, and they would say, "Yeah, come say that to our face. You won't say that in Houston." And I'm like, "I'm here. See you tonight."
I'm in Houston. Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you said that away from the stadium." I'm like, "That is the main gate." I'm doing it right. So I was like, I don't know what else you guys want, but it was crazy. A lot of that stuff. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, I don't fake anything on the Zoom. I would never. That I can call out a fake video when I watch it on TikTok, and I can't stand it. So nothing I did. I remember, I don't know if you saw the Tony Dorsett video. I asked the Astro fan, who's your favorite Astro, and he goes, Tony Dorsett. And I'm like, he's a cowboy. And people are like, oh, that's fake. As real as can be. So
yeah.
We got some amazing stuff out there, but sadly it didn't go the way we wanted.
Nah, that it was awesome, bro. Like seeing your coverage throughout the season, like I said, and also in the playoffs. If I can, just want to take a quick second to shout out the chat real quick. Anthony Medina's in the building. Anthony, good morning. Mr. Fritz Walter, I see you. My man Jacob is in the building. Jacob, what it do? Oh, Eric Wallace just said, I just subbed to you, the Bronx Zoo. Eric Wallace, what it do? G-Man for life. My man G-Man, what it do, bro? But yeah, now, before we continue, I want the fans to be able to know who you are, Jake, and what's the Bronx Zoo. So if you can, give like a 5-second introductory to the Bronx Zoo and to you guys as well, and to the work that you do, to the fans that's in the chat that haven't seen you before.
Absolutely. Shortest possible way I can describe what we do is we are the first of its kind baseball fan show, specifically dedicated to the New York Yankees. We stand outside Gate 6. We ask baseball questions, and not just like, who's your favorite player? We love to get in depth about what moves should be done, who should we sign. We add in fun questions of all different types, and our main goal is to get the Yankees' voices heard. It's to portray that we are the greatest fans in human history, and to really just get people a sense of what Yankee Stadium is and what being a Yankee fan means to all of us.
And like you said, backstage, it's Twitch. That's where you guys first blew up at. I know you from Instagram, but you're also on Twitter also. TikTok is where we blew up. TikTok, IG, and Twitter also. Are you on YouTube as well?
We are on YouTube. Yep.
Copy. So guys, if you guys can look up the Bronx Zoo, I'll put in the description as well at the end of this video. I'll put in the links to the Instagram, to the Twitter, and to the TikTok as well. But guys, if you can, put some questions in the chat. If you got any questions for Jake, Jake, I wanted to ask you, what game, because you said you stand out of Gate 6. I love going through Gate 6 because for some reason the Gate 4 people, they seem like the soup Nazi from Seinfeld. They're very mean over there at Gate 4, but I like to stand out of Gate 6. Is there a specific game or moment during the season that you could point to that you could say is your favorite?
Well, yeah, first, I love all fans, all gates. Gate 2, gate.
No. The security guards that stand at Gate 4, they're like the soup Nazis. Clarify that.
Funny, the reason we do go with Gate 6 is because we do get a lot of younger people. I'm 26, so a lot of people they're going to Billy's. Which shout out Billy's Sports Bar. They let us film there too. So you definitely get more and the most energy at Gate 6. So if you want the most energy possible, go to Gate 6. That's a tough question for us specifically because I'm going to tell you the games that we magically were at. We didn't get to every game. We got to when we can. I would have been there, but I've done the whole Bronx Zoo, left my job in January, paid for it all on every dollar I've worked for since I was a kid. So
listen, we gotta go all in 100%, right?
So I went. These are the games that we were lucky enough to be at. Josh Donaldson's opening day walk off. Anthony Rizzo's walk-off, Aaron Judge walk-off against the Blue Jays, Aaron Judge's walk-off against the Astros, Jose Trevino walk-off, Josh Donaldson's walk-off grand slam, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton's walk-off grand slam. So we were at all
really
those
good games to be at.
Yeah. I'd have to say the game that actually does stand out to me the most, Josh Donaldson's walk-off grand slam this season. A huge rain delay came in. We were down. It was August. It was when we were struggling a lot, very, very much. And I think a lot of people were losing faith in the team. And I think we needed a big victory. And it was like every diehard fan did not leave that stadium. And Josh Donaldson hit that walk-off grand slam. And it was maybe 150 to 200 of us. We went absolutely ballistic. And
I want to ask you, when he hit that, did you know it was going to be a grand slam? Because he obviously didn't know, because at first when he's walking down the first, he was running on the first base line, he thought it was a foul ball in my eyes. But did you think it was going to be a home run when he hit it?
So I usually watch from that board outside because I can't bring my camera equipment in.
Yeah.
I'm watching on that board from outside in between the big board. It has like the columns in between. Usually I'm watching that big moments like that. For this game, Chapman just gave up 4 runs, sadly. And I was just like, oh, it could have been 3 runs. And me and my producer were like, let's start filming. People are going to be leaving, right? So we're standing on 161st Street and we see maybe 10 people. I'm in the middle of an interview, 10 people going ballistic. And I had no idea what happened. And I'm like, and someone just screams, "We won!" And I'm like, "How did that happen?" And at first, I ran. So usually, when things like that happen, you see me sprinting. I'm sprinting like as fast as can be. And I see Rizzo cross the plate and go like this. I'm like, Rizzo hit a grand slam. And then I'm going nuts. And then someone goes, "No, Josh Donaldson hit the grand slam." So I didn't see at first what happened, but man, it was magical, and it was really cool, especially because when these things happen, I tag the guys, and some of them reach out, and Josh sees it, and he appreciated the love, so that was cool.
Nice. That's another question that I wanted to ask you, but I just want to shout out the chat one more time. My man Pete Simonetti, the boss of the NYY News TV, is in the building. Pete, what it do? Mr. Brad Jewis is in the building. Bradley, I hope all is well. 19 Conman is in the building. Mr. Conman, I see you, brother. But yeah, from the players that you tag, obviously you said Josh Donaldson has reached out, but can you remember the first time a player has reached out, has either liked one of your posts or have give you like the kudos on whether it's a DM, whatever? Can you remember a specific video?
I can remember where I was sitting. I was scrolling through my followers and I had like maybe 450 followers, and I see a blue check mark, and Jose Trevino followed us. First guy. And luckily, I've gotten to meet him multiple times, talk to him. He's a fan of us. He's awesome, and he's a big supporter of the zoo. And he likes and he shares. And throughout the season, Bader shared. I met Oswaldo Cabrera a couple weeks ago. I've been told that they know who we are, and like it's cool to think that the clubhouse watches it. And then the legend Reggie Jackson, when he followed the page,
nice.
That felt cool.
Nice, that's dope. Honestly, I'm fangirling out for you for what you just said. But if you ever need like the Somerset Patriots, right? I know some people that work exclusively with the Somerset Patriot, covering the Somerset Patriot. So if you want, I could connect you guys that way. If you want to go out there, do whatever you got to do, whatever I can, Jake, I definitely would do. But now, yeah, definitely, of course. Now let's shift it to the team. When it comes to this offseason, Aaron Judge coming back is going to be named the captain. What's your thoughts on Judge before we continue?
I said in July, and it was actually one of our biggest hit videos. You can't lose our guy. The New York Yankees never lost our guy. We went from Garrick. We went from Ruth to Garrick. People will say Babe Ruth isn't our guy, and those people are wrong. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Thurman Munson, Don Mattingly, Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge. That is the string. That is what makes the Yankees special. We've never lost our faith. I truly think if Aaron Judge didn't re-sign with the Yankees, the team would have been in terrible condition for many, many years. Because we would have not only lost the confidence, we would have lost the powerhouse persona. And I think our management, I do believe the management and ownership over the past couple of years has committed to this team. I say that over and over. They do try to win. When you see that Garrett Cole contract, you can't say that they don't care. And I knew Aaron Judge was coming back. It never made sense. He didn't grow up in San Francisco. He grew up in like 2 hours. I'm closer to Philadelphia where I live than he did. Like
that's like saying people from upstate New York grew up in the Bronx.
Yeah, the people in Albany. Yeah,
their
hometown's the Bronx. So I knew he was coming back. People can be like, oh, this offseason, it didn't matter. We have stayed the same, and that's of course until we got Carlos Rodon. So we have improved. We're not done, of course, but Aaron Judge needed to come back. He came back. He is the captain. I walked out. I went to Jeter's last game at the stadium, and I said, there should never be another captain again. No one could be as good as Derek Jeter. And here comes this guy, Aaron Judge, who does things exactly the way they should be done. And most importantly, the way he interacts with the fans and what he does for the community. That really sets it apart. But I still believe that this team will be a championship team when DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo are at their best. So we really needed Rizzo as well and need a healthy LeMahieu. But Carlos Rodon, best rotation of baseball now. And we need a left fielder. So we're not done. We need a left fielder.
Nice segue, because I wanted to ask you, because my man Carlos, shout out to Carlos in the chat. He said, what's the plan for left field? Before we jump into that, I want to shout out the Pinstripe Chronicles, my man Tats from the Pinstripe Chronicles, what it do. And Mr. Mark T. Maker said in 1987, the Yankees were down 9-0 to Roger Clemens by the bottom of the third. People were leaving. They scored 11 runs in the bottom of the third. People were yanked coming back and hold on to a 12-11 win in the 10th inning. Mr. Mark, I appreciate that for the history lesson. But my man Joe from the shift, what it do? Another big Yankee content creator. Joe, if you don't email me, Joe, I swear to God, I'm going to find you and it's going to be an issue, Joe. But shout out to my man Joe from the shift. If you guys haven't tuned into the shift, make sure you can. Now to left field. Jake, what's your thoughts on left field? What are you trying to trade for Brian Reynolds? Are you giving Aaron Hicks another year? What's your thoughts on left field right now? I just threw up saying Aaron Hicks another year in my mouth, but go ahead, Jake.
I like Aaron Hicks. I think he's a great guy. He is a good player. I think he isn't the starting left fielder. It just can't happen. We need to make a change. We don't get swept last year if we have a healthy Andrew Benintendi and a healthy DJ LeMahieu. It's a different ball game. Your contact hitters, your top contact hitters are there to play. I loved Benny. I thought his speed, his fielding. I'm a big base running guy. For years, the Yankees have not been able to move around the bases that well. Gary Sanchez wasn't stealing 80 stolen bases a year. So
he wasn't Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, it was not Ricky Henderson. Or he wasn't Luke Brock. So we're in the position we are in now, which Benintendi signed 5 years, $75 million. That's a great deal. So I'm sure there's a reason that we didn't get him. Maybe he didn't want to come back, which who doesn't want to come back to the Yankees? Don't understand that. I love Benny. I would have been happy with Benintendi or Reynolds. Either one would have made me happy. But from the very beginning, that switch hitting, phenomenal defense, Brian Reynolds, you do whatever it takes to get better offensively, because we didn't lose the ALCS because of pitching. We didn't. We lost it because of hitting. And you have one guy like Brian Reynolds, who's a table setter at the top of that lineup. His speed, phenomenal. His defense, phenomenal. And people are going to say, oh, you have to give up Volpe. No, you don't. Volpe is our starting shortstop next year opening day. At least he should be. The move that has to be made, and I've thrown this around, people are going to disagree. It comes down to this. You either make a move such as Peraza, which is number 2, and I love Peraza. If it was up to me, he's starting at second base next year, and you trade Gleyber away if you can involve him in a trade. If Gleyber Torres for Brian Reynolds with Gleyber Torres and Austin Wells is not enough to get Brian Reynolds, which I think is a possibility, you don't throw in Volpe. He's our number 1 guy. That there's a story there, right? We number 1 guy, just like Jeter from New Jersey. That matters in Yankees lore. So I think marketing wise, I try to think of the business aspect too. that's important because he's the number one guy from Jersey. Everyone knows Yankees love their hometown guys. But Peraza is going to be a superstar in baseball. I truly believe that. And Peraza, if you trade him, Glaber, and Austin Wells, attach a contract like Aaron Hicks or Josh Donaldson to split the money in some capacity and get Brian Reynolds along with a bullpen piece. So you're getting that bullpen piece because we need one more bullpen piece. That's what we need left with this team. We need Brian Reynolds and a bullpen piece with the loss of Chad Green because I don't believe he's coming back. So that's the move that I make. Or you trade straight up Austin Wells, Peraza, and Aaron Hicks or Josh Donaldson to relieve some money for Brian Reynolds because they know they're not getting Volpe. Volpe and even Peraza, Dominguez, they're our top 1 and 2. They're a Mike Trout trade. They're not a Brian Reynolds trade. That's no disrespect to Brian Reynolds, but I think Michael Conforto, he sounds intriguing. Max Kepler, I think he could do fine. He'd be Brett Gardner-esque. McCarthy, he would do fine, but we don't need fine. We're in a position right now where we need great. And Brian Reynolds brings this Yankees roster from very, very good to very great.
Yeah. I love everything that you just said, but when it comes to Brian Reynolds, right? Brian Reynolds, he's a very unique talent, right? But at the same time, to me, he's still kind of a mystery, right? Because last year it was a down season from the year before, right? The year before was his best season. And the year before that was the pandemic season, 60 games. You don't really know if those were his true numbers. What scares me about Brian Reynolds, it's, my man Joe, I got you, my man. What scares me about Brian Reynolds is that Brian Reynolds, I don't want him to turn into, not sure if you guys are familiar with baseball past, but Nate McLeod. Nate McLeod was a Pittsburgh Pirate years ago, and he had a phenomenal season, just like Brian Reynolds had a phenomenal season 2 seasons ago, right? And the year afterwards, they traded him to Atlanta. Nate McLeod was never the same Nate McLeod ever. He was a solid Gold Glove defender when he was in Pittsburgh, hitting over 300, had 20 doubles, 20 stolen bases. He was a solid outfielder, just like Brian Reynolds is right now. I'm just not too sure if Brian Reynolds' game can translate or transfer to the big city and the big lights. I'm not sure about that. When it comes to Brian Reynolds, like you said, I wouldn't trade either Volpe or Dominguez, right? Those are the two that are untouchable. You trade Dominguez if you go to trade for Juan Soto. That's who you trade Dominguez for. For Juan Soto, like you say, Anthony Volpe for Mike Trout, not for a Brian Reynolds, right? The ceiling for Jason Dominguez, that's Brian Reynolds, right? The scouts have compared him to Mickey Mantle, to Mike Trout. I'm not sure if he'll get there.
I've seen him in person. I saw him at the Hudson Valley Renegades, Jason Dominguez. Let me say, I haven't seen a player hustle this hard on a ground ball in person in my life. I would have thought he was running for his life. It was incredible to watch.
I got this ball because I was sitting behind. I went to go see him at the Tampa Tarpons right down when he was on the single A team. So I went to go. I was sitting behind home plate, sitting right behind home plate. He fouled this off through the net and it came right to me. And I'm holding on to it because I'm trying to get this signed, bro. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, the Tampa Bay Tarpons, their security guards, I'm not sure if they got the same training as the Yankees do from Gate 6, but their security guards in Tampa, they've been a bunch of suit Nazis also. But Jason Dominguez,
I do think Dominguez will be called up this year. I don't think it's 2024. I think it's this year. Especially if an injury happens, they're going to treat him as Estevan Florial. I think he'll be called up. Just to bounce back off the Reynolds point real quick, though.
Go ahead.
When they came that game against Giancarlo Stanton, hit the walk-off grand slam. I was in the audience. I was in the crowd, and I watched Brian Reynolds go 3 for 4. I think with 2 doubles. The guy looked built for the Bronx. He no hesitation. The look on his face. He was having an unbelievable game, and he had a good series at that 3-game set or 2-game set against the Yankees. He looked good, and I understand the hesitation, right? But when we think about the trades that the Yankees have made in the past couple years, they haven't made a trade for a big name except Anthony Rizzo. I'm not going to count Joey Gallo because I didn't want Joey Gallo to get traded to the Yankees in the first place. It made no sense to me. That was just another, remember, it kind of reminds me of Marte last year. Remember, we need Marte to play short. Marte needs to play short, and look at the year Marte had. So, I mean, things don't always work out, but when you think of trades, when's the last major trade the Yankees made since Giancarlo Stanton 5 years ago? Anthony Rizzo. They don't they don't strike because they like to hold on to their prospects. But if any moment is going to happen, you strike now. You don't give up Volpe, Dominguez, because we need to start using our young talent. But I think you have to get something good. You need to give up something good. And I think there's enough prospects right now for us to make that deal and bring multiple into the fold here in the Bronx.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mark, I just wanted to point something out. I don't think we were talking about trading for Mike Trout right now. We're just saying if it came out and if it was a possibility to trade for Mike Trout, that's the player that you trade Jason Dominguez for. That's what we were saying. We're not saying that the Yankees are going to trade for for Mike Trout. I don't think the Angels will ever put Mike Trout on the market unless they want to lose the entire fan base. But when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, because the news came out that DJ LeMahieu is not going to need toe surgery, right? So LI Yankee King, salute. I appreciate you, my guy. He said, Hector or Jake, would you trade DJ LeMahieu? For me, when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, the money is it's not that expensive, but he's still making $15 million over the next 4 seasons. If it came down to a trade that will ultimately make our team better, you have to entertain any trade in all trades that's going to make your team better. Am I going out of my way to trade DJ LeMahieu? At this moment, no. I'm not going to go out of my way to trade DJ LeMahieu. But if a trade were to present itself, right, and something was to come together, then it's a conversation we have to have because you're always trying to improve your team no matter what.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not going out there saying, guys, we want to trade DJ LeMahieu. I love DJ. I think he had a down year with the injury, but he comes up, he's ready to play every single game. He's ready to go. I love his attitude. I love what he's done for this team, and I love the type of bat he provides. He has some pop, but his contact numbers are good. Average was low this year. On base was low this year. But for some reason, when DJ LeMahieu is good, the Yankees are good. It just can't describe it. It's just how it goes. And you think about 2019, single-handedly almost brought us to a World Series in 2019. I mean, that was, I think, statistically Judge's worst year, 2019. And Stanton wasn't his best year. DJ LeMahieu was the guy leading the charge. And I think DJ LeMahieu will have a tremendous bounce back year. He wants to be in there. He's not one of those guys that you just feel like doesn't care. He wants to be in there. And I think that if we do go to the direction of Volpe at short, Peraza at second with Gleyber being traded, I think that having Rizzo and LeMahieu as 2 guys on the anchors to guide that middle infield, I think that leadership, that veteran presence with Anthony Rizzo and DJ LeMahieu, 2 of the very best in baseball when it comes to representing the game, I think is an asset that can't be matched.
Yeah, no, and when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, right, the rest of our lineup is it seems like they're feast or famine, right? And DJ LeMahieu is the perfect balance between that, right? You have your home run boppers like Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, like you said. Gleyber Torres swears he's a home run hitter, but he needs to focus on actually being a regular hitter. But when it comes to DJ LeMahieu, going forward, I think the Yankees need to use DJ LeMahieu more in a utility role, right? Going forward, instead of playing 6 games out the week, allow DJ to play 4 games out the week, right? Keep him healthy for that postseason stretch, because it makes no sense to have DJ LeMahieu hit 310 for the regular season, but towards September he gets tired out, and in the postseason you don't have the best version of DJ LeMahieu. So I would say the Yankees this season going forward, when you have that lineup, especially when you have Cabrera who can play all over the place, have DJ LeMahieu going forward just playing 4 games out the week instead of 6 games out the week. That's all I ask.
Well, I think next year you're going to be looking at a different situation. You're going to have Oswaldo, who is potentially going to have the opportunity to be the next Ben Zobrist, the greatest utility.
Yeah, I always compare him to that. Yep.
Hands down. And the difference this year is IKF is going to be last year's Marwin Gonzalez. I trust IKF at the plate much more than I did Marwin Gonzalez. A lot of people like to bash on IKF, the fielding, all that. When he came up to the plate, he was reliable. He got on base. He moved around the bases great. He had speed. He could steal some bags. I'd rather be in the position with having those type of guys on the bench than in ALDS game 2. And this is no hate to Tim, but Tim LeCastro batting in the bottom of the 10th inning in game 2 of the ALDS should not happen. And it's not his fault. It's something that we shouldn't. And you look at some of the benches this postseason for the Phillies and the Dodgers. Their benches are deep. They can pull guys that aren't starting and that can have productive at bats. And I feel like we had Marwin Gonzalez, Aaron Hicks, Tim LeCastro. I mean, I feel more comfortable with a bench of Josh Donaldson, Oswaldo, IKF. So I think there's many when people are saying trade, there's benefits that we're going to spend some more money, but there's benefits to having a deeper bench because when you come up in situations like that, we're going to need it.
Yeah, and then also too, you got all these rule changes that are happening in this upcoming season. The shift is being taken away, right? They're making the bags, I believe, 8 inches bigger, 4 on one side, or however the math works out. I'm not big with math and fractions, New York City public school system, but however it works out, the bag is going to be bigger, however it is. But are you excited for these rule changes that are coming up? Because I'm an old school type of guy, right? You know, I would rather the National League not have the DH, but I understand it. But what's your thoughts going into this season with these rule changes? I think Anthony Rizzo is going to have a phenomenal year because of the shift is going to be gone. What's your thoughts on it, Jake?
I'm old school too. I think baseball's a game. I'm not an analytic guy. I mean, I respect analytics. I understand analytics. It's not like I ignore them completely. I believe that baseball is a game of adapting and you figure it out, right? So they figured it out. The defense has figured it out. The shift came into play. I have no issue with that. I also, like you said, I have no issue with it getting taken away because it will help this team tremendously. I mean, Joey Gallo might become an MVP next year over in Minnesota. It's just I really think
Brian Cashman's going to come out. You see, I told you that kid had it.
It was worth it. And honestly, Cashman's the best of the best. So I'm a believer in that. A lot of people disagree. I think Cashman knows what he's doing, but I think that I think the shift is going to be beneficial specifically for the Yankees. You know, we're a right field heavy team, the short porch and everything like that. So outfielders moving around, the infield shifting a bit. We're going to get more plays. We're going to get more. Instead of home runs, I think we're going to see more doubles. I think we're going to see, obviously, more singles. But I think that I'm fine with the rule changes because baseball needs to continue to grow. And baseball is not a dying sport as much as people want you to believe. It's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And if that can draw I mean, the one rule I can't stand, and I'll tell you right now, is a man starting on second base in the extra innings. I can't stand it. And I'm fine with it. I understand it, but it makes let's take that away. Just like the postseason, right? You saw that game against Seattle with the Astros. It went 16 innings. That's more exciting. I don't care what. Yeah, you might not be getting new fans, but newsflash: baseball fans are really gonna like a 16-inning game in the middle of the playoffs, where you're gonna see Julio Rodriguez make a diving play. You got this Astros lineup getting dominated by Seattle pitching, and Alex Raymond's getting out, Jose Altuve's getting out in crucial moments, and then bam, here comes that Seattle team that just they refuse to quit. So I mean, like the storyline aspect gets hindered by that rule. But I understand it. So it's like I was actually having this conversation this morning with my dad. I'm a true believer in old school baseball, but I also I think what makes it for the Bronx Zoo, I'll never ever bash the Yankees. I never could. That's not who I am. I love this team more than I love myself. It's the heart. It's literally my heartbeat, right? So I'm never going to bash the Yankees because I also understand at the end of the day that this is a business where people's livelihoods are at stake, and you need to continue to grow the game for the fans, the players, the ownership, and everyone involved. So as long as they don't take away the true intrinsic special aspects that make this game what it is, I'll always be flexible.
No, I get that. When you bring up like passion for the game and coming up as a fan, you talk about Derek Jeter, right? We can talk about the guys who we grew up watching. Brian Cashman has been a part of this, right? A lot of fans, and I'm gonna point out my man L.I. Yankee King. He said, "Jake, you're not going to like me, brother. If you see Cashman being bashed, you're going to see my name being next to it." And it's true. My man L.I. Yankee King, he holds the flag when it comes to the Cashman bash. And shout out to my man L.I. But Brian Cashman, for me, he's been with this team since 1986. I always joke about it. When he joined the Yankees, Red Fox still had a TV show on TV, right? That's how I joke about it. But Brian Cashman, to me, he's got that contract extension over the next 4 seasons. 60, whatever, I think it's 4 seasons. Yeah, 4 seasons. Aaron Boone also got his contract extensions last year. I know a lot of Yankee fans are upset. They don't want Cashman in charge. They don't want Boone in charge. How about you, Jake? Would you like to see Derek Jeter take a presidential role or some type of role with this team and this front office in the future, if not anytime soon? Because one thing that I was upset about is that Don Mattingly is now the bench coach of the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't understand how that fell through the cracks, why we couldn't bring him here and put him on the bench with Aaron Boone. What's your take on that, bro?
I'm with you on that. I would love to hear the reasoning from Don himself of why that didn't happen, because I think Don Mattingly wants to come back. I think he comes back. So I really don't – I want to know more of that backstory. Derek Jeter is obviously my hero. He's your hero, I can't imagine. Anyone from New York. I think he's one of the great baseball minds of the past 20 years, of course. He wants to come to the Yankees organization. You do whatever it takes. Personally, I just don't think he wants to. I think he's enjoying the media aspect right now, which is awesome to see. He's really doing a big media circuit. I don't know if people are recognizing that. So I do think something big is coming for Derek Jeter, but I think he wants to enjoy his family life. If Derek Jeter wants to come back in a high capacity, you do whatever it takes to make that happen, whatever it takes. When it comes to Aaron Boone, I said in the beginning of the offseason, I thought a manager change would have been, understandably so. I think Boone had a phenomenal regular season, made some mistakes in the postseason. Sorry, I'm trying to get that sun up.
No, all good, all good.
But I think that, okay, he wants to come back. He was a good manager. He can't take that away. Last year, I said, nope, no more. We need a new manager. This year, he really did do a good job with a lot of different situations, a lot of bullpen injuries. I think he did a very good job. So I understood it. When it came to Brian Cashman, the way I describe it to people is if you let go of Brian Cashman, there is not another Brian Cashman just waiting to be signed. Brian Cashman, in my opinion, does make moves that make sense. And I understand as a Yankee fan, everyone's opinion's valid to me because I understand both sides of it. But in my opinion, Brian Cashman, it's the little things that he's done that I've watched him do and the pieces he's added that say to me, this guy will put us back on top. And I think back to trade moves, of course, but I'm thinking 07. Bobby Abreu, he tried improving that team. 2012, we were very close. Derek Jeter got hurt in that ALCS against the Tigers.
Yeah.
He got Ichiro. That move changed the Yankees in that year. Totally different direction. 2015 gets Chase Headley. Chase Headley did multiple things after that deadline. You go to 20, I believe it was 18. He trades Chasen Shreve for Luke Voigt. Chasen Shreve was absolutely, completely, horrendously awful in the Bronx that season. He turned it around into Luke Voigt. So it's these little moves for me that I think when you look at on paper, and I'm a guy of results, so it's kind of contradictory for me to say, but when you look on paper, he's making moves this year. Benintendi, Frankie, Efros. That is exactly what we needed. Frankie, yes, might have been more of a risk because you didn't know how he'd adapt. You knew Benintendi would do he would do well, right? He would he played in Boston, high market, high pressure. Frankie never had that. So when I think of Brian Cashman, we got Cole, right? We got Aaron Judge back. It's not like he is losing players. Anyone he wants, he goes out and gets. And like I said, I think they're investing money. I mean, the only mistake that I think in the last 5 years that should have happened is I think Bryce Harper should have been a Yankee. I'm a big believer of that, or Machado, either one. I think one of those guys should have been a Yankee. I think the problem lies most of the time is this trust in the prospects, and I think we're holding on for too long. Miguel Andujar, Clint Frazier, we play with these guys and we affect their confidence, and I think that we go back and forth. They say the Scranton shuttle, right? Look,
Yeah.
that bus crashes sometimes, and people's careers get derailed. It's not always perfect, and we've seen it happen. Miguel Andujar would have been a great third baseman if he didn't come back from that injury and is being bounced around back and forth. And, you know, they're in the majors one day, then they're playing in Scranton, Pennsylvania the next. So it's like, I think our issues solely lie with the farm and how we are managing it, not the players we're getting, because there's some pieces that when you look at this team that we've drafted that have produced, and the guys we traded away, I can't think of at the top of my head. Name a guy that we traded away in recent memory that became something great. I remember we traded away Blake Rutherford, who was our fourth prospect at the time, third base.
He had like a half a good season with I think with Seattle or Milwaukee, but besides that, nothing. And you know, I see what your point. And when it comes to Brian Cashman, the only thing, you know, when it comes for me, I find myself clenching my stomach is Luis Castillo, right? There was a couple years ago he could have traded for Luis Castillo. He didn't want to give up Gleyber Torres, right? When it comes to Manny Machado, right? He didn't want to give up Clint Frazier in order to get Manny Machado, right? So there's certain moves that Brian Cashman doesn't make that make you scratch your head, right? When it comes to Cliff Lee back in the day, not wanting to trade Eduardo Nunez for Cliff Lee, that's the one I think Yankee fans get really upset about, because having Cliff Lee to a rotation with a CC Sabathia right there, you could just write postseason all the time. But there has been some moves, and I think they stick out more as sore thumbs when it comes for Brian Cashman than the moves that actually has panned out. Right. So it's like Jacoby Ellsbury. That would probably go down as probably the worst contract he gave out. Back in the day.
Carl Pavano. That might be number one.
Arguably, which one's worse, Carl Pavano or Jacoby Ellsbury? We could put them both at the top, but also trading for like signing Kevin Brown instead of signing Randy Johnson, like in 98. Like when he was fully in charge of the team in 98, the first move he made was, yes, he traded for Roger Clemens, but he decided to sign Kevin Brown instead of signing Randy Johnson. That right there, having a rotation of Roger Clemens and Randy Johnson as your 1 and 2, I think Yankee fans would have been happy with that. But no, yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with Brian Cashman. A lot of the bad moves, they're going to stick out like a sore thumb, obviously. And of course, it's no pleasing Yankee fans, right? There's no pleasing us, right? Like me, I want to be able to win every season, every year. I understand when we don't make it. I understand the reason why, but at the same time, I'm still greedy, and I'm allowed to be greedy, Jake. All right, so let me be greedy, bro.
Hey, no, look, that's that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone's perspective, I understand. Everyone opinion when it comes to this, it matters, because at the end of the day, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We have not an ownership stake. That's Mr. Steinbrenner, of course. But we have something at stake, right? We invest in this team. We buy jerseys, we buy tickets, and we expect a good product. We want a good team. We care about it more than most any other team in baseball. I stand by that. We love this. It isn't. The one phrase that I've kind of coined is, we don't just take part in this organization. We are a part of this organization.
Yeah.
And I think that I truly believe that the Yankees, ever since the boss, George Steinbrenner, they do care about Yankee fans. I do believe that. I think that when you look at top of the management, Hal, Cashman, they do want to win. I mean, they know the pressures. They know it's New York. So I think that the fans' expectations, and I'll tie it into this, not to get off topic, we shouldn't feel bad that we want to win every year. We shouldn't. We're New York City. There is no Major League Baseball without New York Yankees. I'm sorry. I'm not going to take that away. It's just a fact. And
we spend a ton of time on podcasts for our team as well. Absolutely, Con man. Thank you.
That's a fact. But look, the whole crap about Yankee players don't want to come back to the Bronx because they got booed. Any true competitor, I knew that was ridiculous because any true competitor in baseball wants to play at highest level, highest pressure, highest meaning possible. And the guys on this team wanted to win. Something felt off in the ALCS. I don't know what it was. That wasn't the Yankees we saw all season. I think they got hurt, and I hate using injuries as an excuse. It's no excuse. Astros played better baseball. As much as it kills me to say inside. But this team has that fire and desire, and I think we're going to get back there.
Yeah, no, this season, Silent Carlos, Rodon, and I don't think the Yankees are done, right? Left field, it's a priority for the Yankees, whether you go out there and you get one of the young one of the young outfielders from Arizona. I like the kid Alec or whatever, Alec Thomas, but whether you go out there, whoever you trade for left field, we understand that, Yankee fans, this team as it is set up right now, it's not done. This is not a finished product, right? It's December 20th. We haven't even hit New Year's yet. So there's a lot of time left. Li Yankee King, my man Li, he wants to see Estevan Florial in left field. I don't see it. I have a bet with him. If the Yankees start Estevan Florial in left field, I have to get him from Ohio and bring him to a Yankee game. And I'm hoping the Yankees, they don't start Estevan Florial in left field because I'm not trying to dish out that money. But Jake, bro, I appreciate you taking time this morning to come on.
You.
Like I said, let the people know every place that they can find you. I'll link everything in the description. And anytime you want to come back, Jake, feel free to message me. We'll set something up. Loves having you on today, my man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. I love talking baseball. So I would love to come back on around opening day because we're going to keep building that excitement up, and maybe we could do something where I'll be outside the stadium, and we could
I would love to meet you outside the stadium one of these days, and maybe we could bring you over to the hate Brian Cashman train one of these days. One of these days, Jake.
You know what?
These days.
when we win that 28th this year, I'm gonna, like I kept saying, we're gonna get judged at no hesitation. I'm just gonna be like, all right. Know what I was
copy from your mouth to God's ear. Jake, my man, appreciate you for coming on. Be safe, brother.
Thank you so much, Hector.
No problem. Shout out to my man Jake in the Bronx Zoo. If you guys aren't familiar with the Bronx Zoo, make sure you hit him up. Go watch him, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on the TikTok, whether it's on Twitter, whatever you do, make sure you tune into my man Jake. But let me just shout out the chat a few times because we got a few people in here. My man Zach, what it do? He says, Li, stop the crap. Well, the cap, however you want to say it. Zach, you know when Li gets in his bag, Li's in his bag, baby. Fritz Walters in the building, Mr. Fritz. He said, whoever construction this lineup should better focus on organizing the home run derby. I see you, baby. I see you. Who else we got in here? Li said, heck, this is the Estevan Florial. Li and Jake, I will be giving applause to Cashman and satisfies if the Yankees went with this. Estevan Florial in left field, Oswaldo Peraza at shortstop, Anthony Volpe at second base, and trade Josh Donaldson, Aaron Hicks, and LeMahieu. Listen, whatever team trades for Josh Donaldson, whatever GM decides to trade for Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks, they need to be drug tested immediately, because I don't see a team that's so willing to add on $25 million from Josh Donaldson in his contract or $10 million from Aaron Hicks. If the Yankees are able to get off of one of them, it's most likely going to be Hicks. He's the cheaper when it comes money per season. I understand this is Josh Donaldson's last season on his contract, but $25 million for a guy who's just a defender, I don't think that's happening. My man Zach said, is he going to have a session where he gives Cashman? I don't think that whatsoever. But let's go to the chat a little bit. Also, too, guys, hit that like button as you come in. Hit that subscribe button for your boys. Help the Knights of DJ and get out there to the Yankees universe. My man Mark T. Maker Beta would turn out to be a genius move. You know what? Absolutely right. Harrison Bader, trading for Harrison Bader. was one of the best moves that man has made in recent history. Right? Harrison Bader was big time in the playoffs. No Yankee fan can deny if Harrison Bader was or wasn't big time in the playoffs, because he was. My man Zach said, I came here because of Get Yanked. And I see a guy who must nah, Zach, we don't do that, Zach. We don't do that, Zach. But yeah, bro, Get Yanked. Appreciate you for tuning in to Get Yanked, Zach. For those who don't know, Get Yanked, it comes on Friday, a part of the NYY News TV family. Shout out to the boss, Pete Simonetti. Anthony Medina, he said Florio will not be a part of the Yankees' plans in 2023. He's either going to be traded or DFA'd. It's sad to see it, because at one point, Esteban Florio was one of the top 3 prospects in the Yankees organization. And I just hate to see when a young kid doesn't pan out. Now, I'm not sure if that's more indicative on the Yankees farm system getting better, adding better prospects to the system, or is it just the fall of Esteban Florio, him not keeping up his part of the bargain of being a top prospect, right? Florio should get a chance. I agree with you, Zach. Florio should get a chance somewhere else. Let him go to Cincinnati and let him be a solid major league player in Cincinnati. Let him go to Arizona. Use him in the trade with Arizona. But whatever it is, Esteban Florio, let Esteban Florio get his due. Let him go flourish someplace else. If it's not going to be here with your team, let it be with another team, right? But Yankee fans, I understand that it's a big question mark right now. Riddle me this, like the Riddler from Batman. But it's a big question mark when we have left field out there. There's conversations of the Yankees trading with the White Sox for Eloy Jimenez. I don't think that's ever going to happen. If the White Sox trade Eloy Jimenez, that's probably one of the worst moves that they can make. But I'm not trading Eloy Jimenez if I'm the White Sox. Eloy's bat is special. I'm not trading that bat away. Now, depending on what prospects the Yankees want to send back, I want some of the big-time prospects if I'm the White Sox. But right now, if I'm a Yankee, if I'm in the Yankees front office, if we could get Eloy Jimenez on the cheap without having to give up that many prospects, copy. Let's have the conversation. But if it's going to cost you the top of the bargain, top of the bin prospects, I'm not trading for Eloy Jimenez. Johnny Almonte is in the building. Johnny, what it do, baby? Salute, 3 capital S's. But we got the Diamondbacks. And Alec Thomas, I believe it's, Alec Thomas, he seems like he's a phenomenal outfielder. He's a center fielder. He was a second-rated prospect in their system. But why do they want to trade a young prospect? Why do they want to trade their young prospect that was second in their system? That's my issue. Why are they so willing to trade prospects that were top in their system? I get a little bit skittish when it comes to that. Very skittish, my man. 19, and this is something that shout out to Pete, but this is something that Pete brought up when we was on Get Yanked. That Conforto is a big possibility. Let's not laugh at that, because I was laughing at that on Friday. But let's not laugh about the Conforto situation, because Michael Conforto, he could be an option in left field. And let's say it, just like Conman said, he will only be a stopgap. Conforto, it would just be a 1-year deal, 1-year prove-it deal, low money, high reward. If we sign Conforto, he's a left-handed hitter. I understand he mostly played right field when he was with the Mets, but the Mets also used him in left field, so he has a bit of versatility when it comes to the outfield. So yes, let's take a flyer on Michael Conforto if he's healthy. Put him in left field, and let's see what happens. Like my brother Anthony Medina just said, low risk, high reward. Anthony, one of these days we got to get together, bro. Have some coquito, have some pastelillos, whatever it is. But one of these days, Anthony, we got to get together, brother. Got to get together. L.I. Yankee King, hot take. L.I., when do you not put out a hot take, bro? He said, hot take. The big move will be Randy Levine fired and Derek Jeter hired as the new president, what Cashman has to answer to because of how it's frigging out that L.I., I can't take you, bro. I can't take you, bro. Zach says, I love your work, Hector. Sorry to get animated. That guy, Jake. Nah, my man, Jake, if you guys watch the Bronx Zoo, Jake, he's a very knowledgeable Yankee fan, right? He does what I can't do. I wish I had the cojones to go out in front of Yankee Stadium and speak to these belligerently drunk Yankee fans. Because if you watch this video, there's a lot of Yankee fans that are on there that are just belligerently drunk. That probably come from a frat party or fraternity or whatever. But no, Jake's videos is awesome. Please check out the Bronx Zoo. My man Jake, support his movement that he has going on. He did blow up on TikTok. That's where he told me that he first blew up on. I know him from Instagram. But if you guys can, please follow my man Jake. And hopefully when the season starts, you see a collab between Jake and myself, Yankees Morning Brew, KOD, however it is. Li, before we get out of here, I can say low risk, high reward for Estevan Florial. Li, you just I'm gonna get you a Estevan Florial jersey, right? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get you a Estevan Florial jersey, bro. I swear to God. He said, Li with the hot takes. He said, I said that because why did Howe have to call Aaron Judge from Italy when Cash is in the US? Because when it comes down to it, Li, like Brian Cashman said, when it comes down to big money, like when Aaron Judge got, the last person to make that call is the owner of the organization. Brian Cashman can't just go out there and sign someone to that much money without Hal Steinbrenner having the final say. That's just my opinion. Like I've said multiple times, I think the relationship that Brian Cashman has with Hal Steinbrenner, it's like a brother relationship. It's a brotherly relationship. People love to say Brian Cashman was the unofficial adopted son of George Steinbrenner. And it shows. He's been with the organization since 86. He's probably known Hal and Hank before he passed away when they were in college. So he was probably friends with them. So right now, Hal is a businessman. But Brian Cashman, he's no more of the ins and outs when it comes to baseball. Right. So, yeah, as much as I'm a Yankee fan and I'm not the biggest fan of Brian Cashman, I kind of understand why Hal Steinbrenner has him around, because Hal is not a baseball guy. Right. He grew up with Brian Cashman working with his father as a baseball guy. So he just wants to have somebody, and it's a familiar thing. He's just familiar with Brian Cashman, and he doesn't want to change. He's just comfortable with Brian Cashman being next to him. That's what I can say. But besides that, Brian Cashman sucks. My man, the Bronx Zoo, put in the last thing. Brian Reynolds. The thing with Brian Reynolds, I like I said, I love Brian Reynolds, right? I love the tools. I love the fact that he's a switch hitter. But the thing about Brian Reynolds is that he strikes out. He still strikes out. He struck out, I could say from the numbers, I think Fangraph, when I pulled it up, he struck out 10% less than what Aaron Hicks struck out. So from that point of view, it's an improvement. It's an upgrade over an Aaron Hicks. But the Pittsburgh Pirates, they're going to want a king's ransom for Brian Reynolds. They're literally going to want a king's ransom for Brian Reynolds. And I don't think this Yankees front office is going to want to pay that king's ransom for Brian Reynolds. I'm not trading Jason Dominguez. I'm not trading Anthony Volpe. I'm not even trading Oswald Peraza for Brian Reynolds. Like I said, Brian Reynolds could turn out to be Nate McLeod 2.0. As awesome of a season he had 2 seasons ago, last year he started the year horribly. And I get it. He's in Pittsburgh. He doesn't have pitches to hit. I understand that. Put him in front of Aaron Judge. That batting average may be well over 300. But for the asking price that the Pittsburgh Pirates are asking for, I'm not sure if I could pull the bullet. I'm not sure if I could push the button. Now, remember this. If they add David Bednar to the trade, maybe we could talk about Peraza. But also, too, remember, when the player comes out and says, I want to be traded, the organization that's looking to trade him, they don't have that much leverage because now it's a volatile situation. You don't see this that much when it comes to Major League Baseball. You see this in other professional sports like the NFL, like the NBA. When the star player comes out and says, I want to be traded from a certain team to another team. When that happens, the team that's trading that player doesn't have the leverage in the conversation anymore. they lose leverage. So maybe the asking price is not that high from Brian Reynolds. But shout out to my man, Pete Simonetti. Make sure you tune into the NYY News TV. I appreciate you, boss. And he says, remember this about Reynolds. He will likely bat in front of Judge, meaning he would get a lot more fastballs to hit, 100%. And that batting average could be well over 300. But guys, appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been an awesome episode of the Yankees Morning Brew. Shout out to my man Jake. Shout out to the people from the Bronx Zoo. Make sure you tune into them. Make sure you follow them. And like always, peace, love, and make sure you say hi to your neighbor. And we out.